Welcome back. House and Senate GOP leaders returned to Capitol Hill today to work on Republicans' party line immigration enforcement bill. Of course, they missed President Trump's June 1st deadline. The legislation was held up by the planned implementation of the president's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. Now, however, the DOJ says it will abide by the court rulings made about the fund, including a judge temporarily halting any payments and any work on the fund. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is urging President Trump to scrap the idea altogether to help advance Reconciliation 2.0. Joining me now is Texas Congressman Chip Roy. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So what happened?
Well, as usual, Congress gets in the way. And what we've got is a continued problem in the Senate where we're not doing what we said we would do in delivering for the American people. And Congress has done its job in the House side, right? We sent the Save America Act over to the Senate, and the Senate has not moved it. We were ready to move forward to support the administration to figure out how to ensure that the American people who had suffered at the hands of a weaponized government under Joe Biden would have some recourse. Consider people that were persecuted under the FISA Act, right, for simply, and I've held multiple hearings on this, for simply going to abortion clinics, including a 91-year-old survivor of, European death camps. And she testified in a hearing that I held. And we're saying that we can't find a way to give her a path to be, made whole for being persecuted by the Biden administration. But here we are. The Senate looks like they've kind of won the day. The administration is saying, look, go do your job, get ICE and Border Patrol funded. So we'll go do that. But are we going to not deliver on the other things too, like the Save America Act? Are we going to actually codify any of the stuff that the president's been doing on the border? For example, the H.R. 2 provisions we did last Congress, where we dealt with parole, dealt with asylum, dealt with catch and release policies, because heaven forbid we have a Democrat president again. We haven't made any of these things permanent. We campaigned on doing the things that the administration is doing. It's time for the House and the Senate to deliver in full if we expect to have a better November, Maria, because we're doing a lot of great things as a country because the administration is doing what it said it would do. Congress needs to step to the plate and do what we said we would do.
Well, you're right. There's a lot of codifying that needs to happen as the president has used executive orders for so much of this agenda. But, of course, Senate negotiators are now reportedly close to finalizing FISA legislation extending 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, months of unsuccessful efforts there to reach a long-term agreement. This short-term extension is set to expire June 12th, Congressman. What can you say about it? The president previously urged lawmakers to advance the Save America Act either through a bipartisan housing bill or through FISA legislation. Is that an option? I know the House's version already passed, and now we're waiting again on the Senate.
Well, these are all the right questions that the White House and that the president is asking. The Save America Act, we need to attach it to something or make sure we find some way to press the Senate to get it delivered. It's the president's top priority. As you know, I'm the lead author of that bill to ensure that only American citizens vote in American elections. On FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, look, we fought 2 years ago for significant reforms, and we got some good reforms. You reported on, and we well know the abuses under FISA targeting the American people with warrantless surveillance. The American people don't want to have their government spying on them. By the way, we should kill the kill switch, which puts surveillance in automobiles of the American people and make them more expensive. We should end a central bank digital currency, which will have the government being able to tell you what you can buy, when you can buy it, and cut off your ability to have freedom. These are things we're fighting for, and we'll see what happens. We've made some progress, for example, on that central bank digital currency, but we've got to get that done. We've got to make sure that we're protecting the American people under FISA. We think we need some more reforms. Chairman Crawford and the Intelligence Committee, some others are making some good progress on that, but we haven't seen a final product yet that the Senate will work with the House to make sure we deliver those great protections to the American people. The president rightly needs 702 to go after bad guys, but we need to make sure that we're protecting the American people. We need to come together and get all this done again if we want to have a good November and back up the administration.
Well, Congressman, what about your future? Of course, you have been one of the most influential conservative voices in the caucus and in the Congress, the House Freedom Caucus. You're not running for re-election, and, of course, you lost the race last week in the runoff to Mays Middleton, 56% to 44%. What do you want to say about the Texas Senate race set for November now, with AG Ken Paxton facing off against Democrat James Tallarico.
Yeah, well, Republicans have got to unite. We've got to beat Democrats. They're frankly insane, Maria. I mean, they're so out of touch with the American people. So we got to come together and win in November. And look, my future, I've been in this from the very beginning to fight for freedom, to fight for the Constitution, to fight for limited government, to fight to make and put America first and Texas first. I'm going to continue to do that. That's why we get into this. Like, God puts us on this planet for some specific reason. I'm on this planet to ensure my kids and my grandkids can live free. I fought cancer 15 years ago and won. I've been battling in Congress, and I've got a number of things in the hopper that I'm going to be doing come next January. But I've got 7 more months representing the great people of Central Texas in the 21st Congressional District. And you can better bet I'm going to use those 7 months to deliver an America First agenda for the people that I represent. But Maria, we're just getting started.
You're a fighter. So is Ken Paxton. I spoke with Paxton on Sunday after he won the Senate race, beating out John Cornyn. Watch this. How are you going to get the support that you need from Senate leadership in the Republican Party so that they can help you, in fact, defeat the Democrat in November?
Look, I'm very optimistic about getting their support. I've already been in contact with Senator Thune, Senator Barrasso, Senator Cotton, Senator Scott from South Carolina. So I think they've all pledged their support along with other U.S. Republican senators. And I'm going to meet with several of them this week. And I think they understand how important Texas is, not just because of the majority, but also because we are Texas. We haven't lost a statewide race since 1994, and this isn't the time to do it. We need to unite, and we need to fight together.
What do you think, Congressman? Will he get support from Senate leadership?
Well, it sure looks like it. I mean, the news that I was looking at said that there's a number of things coming together in the National Republican Senatorial Committee. My former boss, Ted Cruz, is hosting a big event this week in D.C., pulling a bunch of people from the Senate together. Again, we've got to make very clear to the American people, we're united to fight for them. This is about them. This is not about us. This is about making sure that the people can live free, that the people can not have a government interfering with them, that the people can be secure with a secure border. And this is an important part, Maria. We've got to make things affordable for the American people again, for the broad middle class in this country. Healthcare freedom. Let's get these big insurance companies and big hospital corporations out from interfering with the American people. Let's deliver in these next 6 months like we did on the big, beautiful bill. And then we'll have a great November.
Well, first you've got to deliver funding for immigration. Is this $72 billion deal for ICE and CBP going to get over the finish line, you think?
Well, that's the goal. We've got to get it done. And look, a lot of us stand ready to do it. They got this hiccup in the Senate, which, again, like the SAVE Act, the Senate's been the problem. The House, hopefully we can drag them across the finish line. But we've got to get that done. And then when we do a third reconciliation package, let's make sure we figure out how to get things done for the hardworking middle class, like health care freedom, give them options, get prices down, and defend them. But we'll get it done, Maria, but we just got to come together this week. No more vacations till we get our freaking job done.
Thank you, Congressman. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Chip Roy. We'll be right back.
See you, Maria. God bless.
Stay with us.